Hi everybody, it's Nicole here from Bodies for Pilates. Today we're going to go through a full body reformer Pilates class. So let's get started. We're going to load up our reformer with 2 heavy springs, 1 medium spring, 2 reds, 1 blue on my reformer. And we'll get started lying on our backs on our reformer with our heels on the bar and arms down to your sides. Your heels will be dorsiflexed on the bar, arms down to your sides, shoulders out of the ears, and we're going to start with the pelvic curl, lifting the hips all the way up to the ceiling. Inhale, hold, and exhale, draw the spine all the way down, dropping the hips all the way down to your carriage. Inhale, hold. As you lift the hips up, really draw those abs in, keeping those abs activated the whole way through, moving through the spine, lifting up 1 vertebrae at a time. Inhale, hold, and dropping down 1 vertebrae at a time, starting from that upper back, mid back, and low back is the last thing to drop. Inhale. Exhale, curl the spine up, starting from that low back, mid back, and upper back. Inhale. Exhale, draw the spine down, continuously pushing down into your arms to activate those triceps. As you lift the hips up, think about drawing the hips towards your knees to activate the hamstrings here and keep your carriage still. And as you exhale to draw the spine down, think about pushing the hips towards your heels to keep that carriage still and keep those hamstrings activated. Lifting up, making sure you're keeping those inner thighs activated here, not letting the knees flare out to the sides, keeping those abs activated even when the hips are completely lifted, continuously pushing down into your arms, keeping those triceps strong and arms strong, and squeezing that butt once you're completely lifted. Nice, you guys. And the main focus here is to really focus on moving through your spine. So really try to focus on finding that articulation through your spine here while keeping the core activated. And let's do a few more here. Exhale, lift the hips all the way up. Inhale, hold, keeping those shoulders open. Exhale, draw the spine down. From here, you're going to wrap the arms around your shoulder rest. Relax the elbows out to the sides. Lift both legs up to tabletop, squeezing those legs together. You're going to imprint your back down into your mat. And inhale, drop the legs over to the right to start your spine twist. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, drop the legs over to the left. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, drop the legs. Exhale, pull the legs back to center. Inhale, drop the legs. Exhale, bring the legs back to center. As you continue this motion, think about keeping those elbows relaxed out to the sides, shoulders open. Upper back should be staying on your mat as much as possible here. You're constantly keeping those abs activated and having that feeling as if you're imprinting your back down into your mat the whole time. Your obliques should be working really hard here, and you're keeping those knees squeezing together the whole time. Remembering to breathe through this. Inhale, drop the legs over to one side. Exhale, use those obliques to bring the legs back to center. Inhale, drop the legs over to the other side. Exhale, use those obliques to pull the legs back to center. Good. Constantly keeping those abs working. Back to center. You're going to tap one foot down and tap the other foot down for your leg changes. Keeping the abs activated here and keeping those legs at a 90-degree angle, moving only from the hip joint. So your feet can go beyond the bar a little bit in order to keep that 90-degree angle of the knee. If you want to challenge the abs a little deeper here, you can lift the hands up to the ceiling. And let's do one more. Legs back to 90 degrees, tabletop. You're going to inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the chest up, reach the arms long. Inhale, drop the chest, hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, lift the chest. Inhale, drop the chest. Good, lifting head, neck, and shoulders, looking between your thighs as you lift up. Bringing your arms with you here, reaching long with your arms down towards your mat. And drop the chest. Exhale, lift. Drop the arms down. Inhale, drop the chest, hands up to the ceiling. Keeping those legs at a strong 90-degree angle here. Activating those abs as you lift, keeping that tailbone relaxed and hips relaxed. One more. And drop the chest all the way down. Nice. And now we're going to get started with our footwork. So heels on the bar, arms down to your sides, shoulders out of the ears. You're going to push the heels into the bar to straighten the legs and bend the knees back in. Straighten the legs, activating those quads. And bend the knees, really resisting against your springs here. Heels on the bar, keeping the toes relaxed, feet dorsiflexed. And you want to have a neutral spine here, relaxing that tailbone down into your carriage, having a little space between your low back and the carriage here. Good, really intentionally activating your leg muscles as you straighten and bend the knees. Bending the knees back in, you're going to slide down to your toes on the bar. Wrapping your toes around the bar, you're going to exhale to straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees. Keeping those heels slightly lifted here, making sure to really wrap your toes around the bar, reaching forward with the toes onto your bar. Straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale to straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees. Making sure those feet are hip width apart here. Parallel legs. Really resisting against your springs. One more. Back in. From here, you're going to leave your toes on the bar and just click the heels to touch for your small V toes. And straighten the legs. Exhale. Bend the knees. Inhale. And really keep wrapping those toes around your bar, reaching long with the toes. Staying externally rotated, heels together, toes apart. As you straighten the legs, you're going to squeeze those inner thighs. As you bend the knees will come apart. Keeping those heels together the whole time here. And one more. From here, you're going to take your heels out to the edge of the bar for wide V heels, keeping those legs externally rotated from the hip joint. You're going to push your heels into the bar to straighten the legs and bend your knees. Straightening those legs completely, activating those quads and activating the hamstrings as you slowly bend the knees back in. Exhale, straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten the legs. Inhale, bend the knees. And we'll do a few more here. One more. And bend the knees back in. We're going to go to wide V toes. Toes out to the edge of the bar, keeping those legs externally rotated. Pushing the toes into the bar as you straighten the legs and bend the knees back in. Really wrapping your toes around the bar here. Try to get all 5 or all 10 of your toes wrapping around the bar. Keeping the hips rotating here. Straightening the legs as you exhale. Inhale to bend your knees. And one more. Bringing your toes back to the center of the bar, feet hip width apart, you're going to push to straighten your legs completely and get ready to do your heels raises, lifting the heels up really high to start and dropping the heels down. Keeping those knees completely straight the whole time, wrapping your toes around the bar, keeping the legs parallel to each other. You're going to lift the heels up as high as they can go and as low as they can go underneath and over the bar. Try to avoid any bouncing of the heels. You want to make this one fluid movement, lifting and dropping the heels. You're going to hold the heels lifted and take it to prancing, dropping one heel, lifting the other, switch, and switch. Making sure to lift the heels up really high between each prance. As one heel drops, the other heel lifts super duper high in one direction and super low in the other direction. One knee bends, one knee straightens. You keep those toes wrapping around your bar the whole time here, trying to keep an even amount of pressure into both of your feet. You're going to bend both knees all the way back in. Take your heels to the bar, lift the left leg up into tabletop, and push to straighten your right leg, pushing that right heel into your bar, and bend that knee back in. Trying to keep those hips squared and even. Strong tabletop in that left leg, and strong dorsiflex on that right leg. Switching sides after 8, you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Straighten your left leg, inhale, bend your left leg. Keeping a really strong tabletop in that right leg. Neutral spine here. One more. And back in. From here, you're going to lift both legs up to tabletop and you're going to teaser yourself up to change your springs to one heavy spring, one medium spring. At the upper left-hand corner, I'll have the springs I'm working with, and right below, I'll give a modified spring load option. So if needed, you can look at that. We're going to lie on our backs with the straps in our hands, hands up to the ceiling. Legs in tabletop, squeezing together. You're going to inhale to prepare, exhale, draw the arms down, inhale, lift the arms up for arm extension. Trying to keep a neutral spine here and keeping the shoulders heavy into your carriage the whole time. As you drop the arms, keep those ribs strong, making sure not to flare out in the ribs here. Keep those fingertips reaching long so you're pulling the shoulders out of the ears the whole time. Thinking about pushing your shoulder blades down into your carriage the whole time, and a strong 90-degree angle in those knee and hip joints. From here, we're going to go into arm adductions. So you're going to open the arms out to the T and bring the arms back down to your thighs. Palms are facing your thighs. Open out to the T and exhale, pull down. Inhale to open the arms. Exhale to adduct the arms. Really squeezing those arms into your body as they come back in. As you lift the arms out to the T, make sure the wrists don't go higher than your shoulders here. Arms back down to your sides. You're going to lift the hands up to the ceiling, out to the T, and back to your sides for arm circles. Down to your sides, up to the ceiling, out to the T, and back to your sides. Making sure to hit every corner here, reaching really long with the fingertips in all directions. Making sure to stay resisting against your springs. Reversing the circle, arms down to your mat, out to the T, up to the ceiling, and back down to your mat. Remembering to hit every corner here, down to the T, up to the ceiling, and down to your mat. Reaching long with the fingertips, pulling the shoulders out of the ears. Reaching long with the arms. We're going to take this into tricep curl. Squeezing those elbows into your waist. You're going to bend the elbows and straighten the elbows. Palms face down towards your mat the whole time. Bending the elbows, keeping them squeezing tight into your waist. Barely hovering the elbows off of your carriage here. And reach long with the fingertips as you straighten the elbows. And lift the hands back up to the ceiling. You're going to inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift the chest up. Inhale, drop the chest down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, drop. Exhale, lift head, neck, and shoulders. Reach the arms really long beneath you. And lift the hands up to the ceiling as you drop the chest back down. Keeping a strong 90-degree angle in those knee and hip joints. Making sure to get those shoulders off of your carriage here as you lift the chest up. Keeping those wrists really straight and strong here the whole time. You're going to hold lifted on this last chest lift. And we're going to take it to leg changes. Tap one foot down into your well. And switch. And switch. And switch. Finding a breath pattern that works for you here. Keeping those legs at a 90-degree angle. Moving only from the hip joint. And both knees back to tabletop and drop the chest. You're going to rest your heels on your bar and we're going to go into feet and straps. You're going to push your heels into your bar to straighten your leg. Lift your right leg up into tabletop and hook your right strap around your right foot. You're going to push into that strap and lift the left leg up into tabletop to hook your left strap around your left foot. Starting in frog position, heels together, toes apart, knees bent. You're going to be in a neutral spine here, so your tailbone is relaxed down into your mat. You have a tiny little space open between your low back and the carriage, and arms are down to your sides. You're going to push into your straps to straighten your legs and bend the knees back in towards your chest. Exhale, straighten the legs, keeping those heels together. Inhale, bend the knees. As you straighten the legs, really squeeze those inner thighs. Keep those heels together the whole time. As you bend those knees, stay resisting against your strap, making sure you don't let the knees come all the way in towards your chest. The knees are going to stop right above your hip joint here. Letting that tailbone relax and feel heavy into your carriage. Knees come apart as you bend the knees. Squeeze those legs back together as you straighten the legs. Exhale to straighten. You're going to go into leg circles, so you're going to draw the legs down and together, open the legs apart, and lift back up to the ceiling, squeezing those heels together. You want to be in external rotation here, so those heels are together, toes apart, in sort of a V position. Trying not to wobble around too much in the hips. Want to fight to keep that neutral spine even when the legs lift up to the ceiling. Trying to avoid any tucking of the hips here. You really want to avoid letting those straps control you here. You want to stay control of your straps, meaning you're not going to let your legs fling all the way up towards your head. You're going to let that tailbone stay heavy into your mat. You're going to resist against your springs the whole time here. Your ankles shouldn't go past your hip joints as you circle the legs up to the ceiling. Good. From here, we're going to reverse the circle. So you're going to lift the legs up to the ceiling, open the legs apart, squeeze the heels back together, and lift the legs back up to the ceiling. Opening the legs apart, squeezing the heels together towards your bar, and lift the legs up through center here. Remembering to stay in complete control over your straps, resisting against your springs the whole time here. Squeezing those inner thighs once the legs come back together. Try to avoid any bouncing of your heels. Finding that complete control here. From here, you're going to hold your heels towards your bar, open the legs straight apart, and squeeze the heels back together for leg openings. Trying to draw a straight line with your heels as you open the legs and squeeze those heels back together for inner thigh work. Open the legs, drawing a straight line with the heels and squeeze back together. Inhale to open, exhale to close. Inhale to open the legs, exhale to close. A few more here. And last one, squeezing those heels back together. You're going to bend the knees all the way into your chest here. Interlace the fingers around your straps. Palms of your feet are going to touch, and you're going to let your knees open out to the sides for a little butterfly meets happy baby stretch here. If you feel comfortable, you can do a tiny rock side to side. Then you can take your straps off 1 foot at a time, making sure to find the bar before you take the other strap off. You can hang your straps back up, and we're going to go into bottom lift. Heels on the bar, feet hip width apart. You're going to curl the spine up without moving your carriage, lifting the hips all the way up. And exhale, take the spine all the way down without moving your carriage. Curling through the spine, you want to think about lifting your hips up towards your knees to activate those hamstrings and towards your heels on the way down to avoid moving that carriage and keeping those hamstrings working really hard. As you lift the hips up, you lift up 1 vertebrae at a time. As you drop the hips down, you drop 1 vertebrae at a time. Really moving through that spine, trying to keep your carriage completely still the whole time here, as much as possible. Really activating those hamstrings, pushing your arms down into your carriage, keeping those abs activated and strong the whole way through. You're going to hold your hips lifted for this last one. Keeping those heels up high, you're going to push your heels into your bar to straighten your legs without locking the knees. And bring the carriage back into your stopper, lifting those hips up even higher as you bring that carriage back in. Straighten those legs and bend the knees back in. Making sure not to lock those knees out. Slight bend in the knees when those legs are going towards straight. You're using those inner thighs here, making sure the knees don't come apart. Knees pointed directly up to the ceiling here. And then you're going to curl the spine all the way down, relaxing the hips. Taking yourself up to seated, you're going to change your springs to either 1 blue spring, 1 light spring, or 1 red spring, 1 heavy spring. You're going to sit down super tall with your legs straight in front of you on top of your headrest, either squeezing those legs together or crossing the ankles. Reaching those fingertips long towards the floor. You're going to have straight arms as you pull the straps behind you. And inhale, bring the straps in front of you. Exhale, straight elbows, reach the arms long behind you. Palms inhale, face back, bring the arms reach forward. Really long with the arms, straight elbows. As you take the arms behind you, think about bringing the hands a little closer towards each other. Bring the arms forward. 1 more. And then you're going to bring the arms in front of you, palms up to the ceiling, making sure those wrists are in line with those elbows and elbows are in line with the shoulders. You're going to exhale, bend the elbows for bicep curl. Inhale, straighten those elbows. Making sure to not drop in those elbows at all through this exercise. Stay seated up really tall and keep those elbows and arms parallel to each other the whole time. Making sure the elbows don't open out to the sides here. Exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, straighten the arms. Taking this into rhomboids, you're going to take your straps and put them through your hands to your elbows. Lift your hands back up into bicep curls. And you're going to open the arms out to the sides for rhomboids. Keeping those elbows bent at a 90-degree angle the whole time here. Keeping those palms facing you the whole time. You're going to exhale to open the arms out to rhomboids, goalpost position, and inhale, bring the arms forward. Keeping those shoulders out of the ears. Stay seated up super tall here. Use those abs. You should feel your abs, your legs, your arms, your deltoids working, your shoulders working here. And one more here. Keeping your straps with you, you're going to turn around to face the bar of your reformer, sitting the same way with the legs straight in front of you, as tall as you can, squeezing those legs together, reaching long with the legs. You're going to open the arms out to the T position with the straps in your hands. Exhale, reach the arms in front of you. Inhale, open the arms out to the T. As you bring the arms in front of you, the fingertips don't have to touch. You want to get those hands directly in front of your shoulders. As you open out to the T, the arms are going to be slightly in front of your shoulders here, wrist slightly in front of your shoulders. Continuing this pattern, try not to drop in the arms, reach super long with your arms, very slight bend in the elbows. Holding the arms out to the T position for your last one, you're going to bend your elbows and bring the thumbs to line up with your eyebrows. From there, you're going to push to straighten your arms. Inhale, bend the elbows. Exhale, straighten your arms. Inhale, bend the elbows. Keep those wrists in line with your eyes the whole time, even when you straighten the arms. Don't let those elbows drop. You're bringing the arms forward as you exhale. Open out to the T and come on out of this completely. Making your way up to standing, you're going to change your springs if needed to one heavy spring. And you're going to stand up on top of your reformer for elephant. Both hands on the bar, you're going to step 1 foot at a time onto your reformer without moving the carriage and walk your heels back against the shoulder rest, flat feet. From here, you're going to move the carriage back and in, making sure those hips are in line with your ankles when the carriage is completely at the stopper. You want to try to have a completely flat back here. Shoulders out of the ears. If needed, you can bend the knees. And it's a very small, slight movement of your carriage. From here, you're going to lift the heels up against your shoulder rest. Same movement, only moving from your hip joints here. Exhale, draw the carriage in using those abs. Inhale, pull the carriage away. And it's a very small movement of the carriage. One more. And from here, you're going to step off of your reformer, grab your box, and place it long ways on top of your reformer, pushing up against the shoulder rest. You're going to change your springs to one medium spring. You're going to sit on the center of your box with the bar to the right of you and the straps to the left of you. You're going to grab the strap, interlace your fingers around the loop, exhale to twist over to the right towards your bar. Inhale, twist back to center. Exhale, twist using those abs. Inhale, back to center. Sitting up super tall here, making sure to keep that left shoulder out of the ear. Thinking about spiraling up taller as you twist to the right. Keeping those arms strong here. Elbows nice and open. Good. From here, you're going to take that loop, put it through your left hand, both hands behind your head. Sitting up nice and tall, you're going to tilt over to the right and back to center. Tilt towards your bar and back to center. Again, initiating the movement from the abs here. You want to keep strong arms. Keep those elbows nice and wide. And keep that left hip heavy into your box. Exhale to tilt. Inhale back to center. Exhale to tilt. Inhale back to center. Good. Taking that strap off, you're going to turn around to do the other side. Interlacing your fingers around the loop, you're going to exhale to twist towards the bar to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back to center. Keeping strong arms, focusing on keeping that right shoulder down and out of the ear. Elbows open wide, and think about spiraling up tall as you twist, keeping both sits bones heavy into your box and both heels heavy into your carriage. Coming back to center, you're going to take that loop and put it through your right hand to your elbow, hands behind your head, sitting up nice and tall. You're going to tilt over to the left towards the bar and back to center. Exhale to tilt, inhale back to center, initiating the movement from your abs, keeping both shoulders out of the ears and relaxed here, staying wide open in your elbows, and keeping that right hip really heavy into your box and feet heavy into your carriage. One more, and tilt back to center. From here, you're going to hang your strap back up, and you're going to change your springs to one heavy spring. You're going to lie on your stomach on the box, facing the bar, hands on the bar in line with your shoulders, legs squeezing together, reaching long with the legs. You should feel your butt working here. You're going to exhale to straighten the arms. Inhale, bend the elbows. Exhale, push into your bar to straighten the arms. Exhale, bend. Super straight line here on your body from your neck to your heels. Keeping the shoulders out of the ears, you should feel your triceps and your lats muscles working, drawing those abs in. This next time you straighten the arms, you're going to extend the back, lift the back up, pushing away from your bar, and drop the chest down as you bend the elbows. Pushing away from the bar, you're going to lift the back up and bend the elbows, flatten the back. Keeping those legs reaching long, you want to feel the upper back working here. Draw those abs in with you and those ribs up as you lift the back up. Making sure you're not feeling the lower back here, just the upper back working. So if you are feeling the lower back, you can take your back extension a little lower, or think about drawing those ribs and abs up with you a little bit deeper. Nice. From here, we're going to finish the class in child's pose, resting there as long as you'd like. And that's the end of class, everybody. Good job, and thank you for joining. I'll see you next time.